Hello everyone, it's Commander Trium back once again. We just had to do a little bit of deliberate crashing of our video. We have moved from Jupiter's moon Callisto back to Saturn's moon of Iapetus and donated the amount of outstanding bounty vouchers, bounty bonds, I beg your pardon, to the engineer who seeks them. So now we're going to be moving on to our next mission target for delivery of passengers to the appropriate location. We were in a conversation with our wingman, the Squaddle. We're going to just try to reach out to him one more time.
Welcome back.
Yeah, game crash yet again. Gotta watch out. The galaxy map is being unusually fragile at the moment. I can't remember what I was saying before, so...
So the crew member that I've got now for doing my shit,
yeah,
she's already acquired like 35 million credits.
Ship restraints disengaged.
What the hell is going on?
She's getting paid really well for her services.
Oh, really?
But she's done a pretty good job of not letting my shit get blown up when I'm needing to rely on her, so...
Do you know there's a park on Iapetus?
What?
There's a park here with trees and everything. Of course, it's in a dome structure, but...
On a planet?
No, Saturn's moon, Iapetus, the outermost moon
Okay.
of Saturn. Yeah, I went, while I was on Callisto, I was fishing minerals out, and I got a few things, including some arsenic and a couple of the more rare ones. But I got some nickel, which is what I was short of. That allows me to upgrade my ship, although I haven't done so yet.
Oh, shit, we were talking about going and doing some mining, weren't we?
Well, you have to stay up the rest of the night to get that done.
Do some mining?
Yeah. Well, I'll stay up late anyway, not the whole night. But I have to readjust my sleep schedule, which is not the easiest thing for me to do, but... I'm a nocturnal animal.
Yeah, I don't know how late I'll stay up, just because, yeah.
Okay.
Already starting to yawn and...
Well, you've had a full day. I haven't even started my day yet. Well, actually, it's not totally...
I'm drinking vodka again.
What's that?
It don't help, I'm drinking vodka again.
Well, sip at it. Don't drink it too much.
Oh, last night I got pretty fucked up.
Don't you ever just get sick about being drunk all the time, though? Like, I don't know. I just got... Eventually, it just... The whole attraction of it just sort of wore off, and I was looking for other things to do.
I don't drink that often. It seems like it, but I don't really.
Well, but I mean, even for me weekly, like, no, I don't like the hangover. I don't like the icky feeling I get in my stomach. And you know what? Cocaine doesn't do any of that. It's pretty wonderful. Like,
I know. If you drink hard liquors, the hangover is different. It's actually easier to deal with.
You're drinking bourbon and vodka, like... That's not hard liquor. I don't know what is.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're drinking beer. If I get drunk off of beer, I'm going to be sick like a dog for about 3 days.
Yeah.
But if I drink bourbon, and most of the time I don't actually get drunk, I catch good buzz, so I'm feeling good, and I just kind of maintain that till I get tired of it and go to sleep. So
yeah.
Actually getting completely stupid drunk, that don't happen too often.
But the other drugs like weed and cocaine and ecstasy, well, ecstasy is a little different. Ecstasy is a high commitment drug because although you don't get a hangover, you get something called afterglow. that will be with you for like, I don't know if you've ever done ecstasy before, but it stays with you for days, like afterwards, right? So it's a very high commitment thing. Plus, once you've done like 10 pills worth of ecstasy, if you're going to go hardcore about it, in a given party night, you're up for 2 days straight, right? There's no going to sleep. And that can be a lot of fun if you're with friends, because your friends are up, you have like, 40 hours, almost worth of entertainment without needing or wanting to stop. But then you do have to, at the end of it, you're going to need some sleep, and
you're going to crash for 3 days.
You're gonna crash for a couple days afterwards. Yeah. So it's a high commitment thing, and usually this is what does a lot of people in with it, is unless you start on the Friday night prior, the Thursday night or Friday night prior before a weekend, you're not going to be ready for Monday the next week. Not truly. I mean, you can go to work, but you won't be like firing like completely on all thrusters until Tuesday of the following week. So it's very high commitment that way. If you do just a little bit of ecstasy, you can get away with it a lot more easily, but for me, it's not something, I mean, if I don't want to be tied down just to like doing 1 or 2 pills worth of ecstasy. There's just not enough in it for me. As for cocaine, it's a lot different. Cocaine is very, very high energy. You talk a lot. There's a lot of similarities between it and drinking, except that there's no after effects to speak of. While you are on cocaine, however, you will want to do more of it. That's why when people get addicted to crack, and this is where a lot of cocaine addiction comes from, I think, people just keep wanting to do more and more of it because they're up and they're, it just seems like the only other thing to do is to do more of it, plus you want to. And your body keeps telling you that you want to do more. But eventually, even that wears off after a time. Especially once all the coke is gone, then it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to go out and buy more coke. Then it's just too inconvenient and you just want to doze off. So you come down and off you go to bed, and that's the end of it. At least for me, that's the end of it. And that feeling's a little
like too much effort.
Well, for me, it's just a lot more favorable than drinking. And
everybody has a drug of preference.
Yeah.
Mine's alcohol because there's really no big deal with it. I don't have to worry about legalities or anything else.
Yeah, well, that might change in the future. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying you're going to be in your 70s and doing coke. Like, that probably won't happen because it takes a certain, even me, like at 47, I'm starting to enter the risk phase for males who are susceptible to heart attack, right? So I'm conscious of that, and I don't really want to put my heart through too much more bullshit before I truly enter middle age, which is in the 50s to 60s. After 60, I doubt very much I'm going to be doing very much cocaine. People who are older than 60 do cocaine. It does happen, but it's less and less as time goes on. The desire is just way less. So that part of my life is winding down to a close, but still got a few years left before that happens, so while I'm still young and relatively virile, I'd like to indulge a few more times. You understand.
Yeah, kind of. Oh, god damn it. I hate how this stupid shit jumps around from one spot to the next. In a fucking cutter doing scan. What the hell? Doing these scan missions in a fucking cutter is kind of a chore. Landing here.
Headed for LHS 455, doing jump to which space, and we are in which space now? Well, in system jumping anyway.
Ugh, I'm gonna go play the Scarabs for a while.
Oh shit. I did that wrong. Okay. FSD cooldown complete. Jumping to hyperspace. Why does Saturn's moon Iapetus seem so egg-shaped?
Because it is.
It must be.
I'm at. Go full power and a goddamn SRV is a pain in the ass.
Are you in a light gravity planet?
Anytime, because you gotta deal with all the stupid bullshit. Problem is, any vehicle, if you overdrive the conditions of the terrain, just like my pickup, I can drive on a highway 70 mile an hour, no problem. Can I do that off-road on a gravel road? No.
No.
I have to slow down. The SRVs are not intended to drive at 60 kilometers an hour across rocky terrain that isn't designed for fast travel.
Nope. Okay, we just flew through a death cone, and now we're jumping 41 light years to our next target, LHS 6386, well away from the solar system. It's just hilarious in this game how in 5 minutes you can be like over 100 light years from Earth.
They gotta make it so you can travel fast, otherwise people aren't gonna spend 3 days traveling to a planet. There's not much fun in that.
I guess they had to put it ahead like it's over 1,000 years and make it. I just don't know if in 1,000 years we're going to have the technology to actually move through space like quite this fast. Like, yes, I believe in 1,000 years we'll be visiting other star systems. There's not a doubt in my mind. But moving like this, I'm somewhat skeptical. I think it might still take a few days to move between one star and the next.
Cargo scoop.
You know what? You could make a game like that work if the in-system activities made it interesting enough. Could you do it for the whole galaxy? That would be more difficult. Like you would not want to take like 6 months to like go to the core of the galaxy, or you know, over a year to the other side. Though that might be more realistic. I've got someone threatening to interdict. Stand by. Interdiction underway. It is a Python. However, it's only competent. We will yield. Submitting.
Commencing fighter deployment. SOS is online.
Under attack, power plant is exceeded. Stand by. Deactivate planetary.
Damn, the cargo scoop is fucking huge on my ship.
Tango is down.
Cargo scoop.
Debris field ahead, standby. Python was destroyed.
Board ship.
Who?
I said board ship.
Whose ship are you boarding?
Mine.
Oh.
I just did a little excursion with my SRV.
Oh. Collector online.
Retracted. Programming limit good. Cargo suit deployed.
Oh, let's see. I gotta go over here. Landing gear.
Weapons retracted.
Cannot comply.
Okay, Commander. Fighter en route back to Mothership.
We're calling fighter. Identity composites collected. Fighter is in the bay.
Cargo suit retracted.
Fighter is on board, Commander.
Okay, moving on. We have a target.
Frameshift drive charging.
The Tupa BC subsystem is ahead at 1,827 light seconds, engaging FSG to jump space. Now in jump space. Target is a water world. It seems to be orbiting a gas giant. Nope, it's orbiting a neighboring stellar component. Two neighboring binary star components, Bravo and Charlie, in the Tupa system. It is planet number 1. This is a stellar component Charlie. Target is a Diamondback Explorer, 2 and 2 wings.
Scan detected.
Copy. Deploying the fighter. SOS is online. Standing by.
Target obliterated.
Okay, Commander. Concentrating fire on primary target.
Target shields offline.
Tango is down. Looks like we got him. I'm not picking up any more threats on my scanner.
Explicit deployed. Programming limit gun. Programming limit gun. Programming limit gun.
Roger that. Initiating automated retrieval. Fighter is on board, Commander.
Cargo scoop retracted.
Okay, I gotta use the can for a second. Be right back. Okay. Well, that's nice. They give you a little first aid kit here.
Give you a first aid kit?
On the bridge of your ship, you should find a first aid kit somewhere.
Oh,
I just noticed where mine was. It's near the weapons and fire control station.
I guess I don't inspect the bridge of the ship that often, so...
What? You haven't been submitted for inspection?
Nope.
Yeah, I know. Those checkpoints are kind of useless. I asked Iron Jaguar what they were for. He didn't know. Neither does Nate Dogs. No one seems to know what they're for. They're just kind of useless. They put them on the bridges, but... Or, sorry, put the checkpoints on the in the systems, but...
It might just be a potential future use for them.
Well, I hope so. It'd be nice if they made it impossible for, or unnecessary for star bases to scan you. Like if your passengers could submit for a checkpoint inspection willingly, voluntarily, according to Federation law. Instead of having passengers bitch at you because someone's scanning the ship and they don't want scanning them.
That's just fucking annoying how they got so many different expectations for different passengers. It's like, come on, really? Where's the incentive to even run the passenger missions?
Well, that's the other thing, is I don't usually board like an airliner and get to dictate, okay, no, although I'm flying in the United States, I don't want any potential fighter escort, and I don't want any inspections from customs. Well, you're going to a different country, so you have to... The rules are such now that you have to submit for inspection at the border. There's nothing anyone can do about it. Container ships, passengers, everything that comes into the United States or Canada gets inspected. It's just the way it is. So 150 years ago, you could probably get into either country without too much hassle and without any without declaring it customs. I don't think it would have been all that uncommon, actually. People could just crisscross the border however the hell whenever they wanted for whatever reason.
It's been about 100 years now since been able to have that privilege, so...
Yeah. It'd be nice to go back to that, just on the assurance that everyone on Earth has been already submitted for inspection to the extent they need to be, but... I remember that in the United States during the Cold War, they used to point out how the Soviets would require you to submit to inspection to travel from one part of the Soviet Union to the other. They'd be asking for your papers and whatnot, your travel documents to prove who you were and where you were going.
No.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm just agreeing with you.
But it's the exact same rule that it feels like we have now planet-wide, yet the United States is the biggest proponent of this, or one of the bigger proponents of this. I don't think Canada's position...
Everybody's got the theory that, oh, America's such a great place, we'll go there to start a new life.
Well, Canada, don't forget, there are other countries that immigrants try to get into. It's not just the United States. You're not alone. I mean, Canada is now experiencing an influx of refugees across the Canada-US border in Quebec and in Ontario right now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Everybody seems to think, grass is on the greener side, let's go there, start a new life. Well, Not really greener.
Well, it might be for
If you're
some
gonna come here, you better expect to change your lifestyle to
to
get
conform, yeah.
along with us, because we're not going to change for you.
Generally, I think most immigrants understand that, at least the ones that initiate the immigrating. But their families are the ones who don't necessarily want to pull the party line completely, and will be the ones that get involved with crime or, you know, whatnot. At least that's what I've seen in the city of Ottawa. Is a lot of we have a large number of Somali immigrants here from Somalia, right? And Canada admits them because Somalia is like a governmentless anarchy, right? And it's very difficult to live there. So on humanitarian grounds, we let a certain number of Somalis in every year.
Oh, we've got plenty of them floating around here too. Some of them are
Okay,
fine.
the
others are troublemakers.
They're troublemakers, but immigrants by and large, don't forget the Irish and the Italians back in New York, back at the turn of the last century, of the 20th century, was exactly the same scenario. The Irish, my own ancestry, used to get into all kinds of trouble all the time with the police. Why? Because they were, you know, they took their baggage from the old country and used to think how unfair it was that the English were running things, or the English descendants were running things in the United States and all the rest of it. It took a while for that attitude to change, and for Irish people to take their place alongside other immigrant nationalities in the United States fabric, to become Americans. In Canada, it was a slightly different approach, of course. We don't have a melting pot philosophy. It's more the philosophy of multiculturalism. So, I mean, your heritage is honored and so on and so forth. But the reality is, even with that, you still have to conform to certain Canadian values. You will only be served in one of the two official languages that this land promotes, and that's it. You don't get to speak Gaelic or whatever language that is your parent country's language of origin to the government. There might be translators for a select few services.
You gotta be fucking kidding me!
What now?
I just bounced off the surface of the planet and blew up.
I see that.
Nope.
What happened? Why did you fall out of the sky?
I'm sitting there trying to not. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
What?
I get to go to a detention center now.
Well, your bounties are quite numerous.
I just cleared all the bounties off. It cost me 12.8 million credits. And, oh, shit.
Welcome to the club.
I had 15 fucking missions on.
Do you
my thing too.
Do you still have them? You might still have them.
I doubt it. They pretty much, if your ship gets destroyed, then you fail. So that means 15 different fucking faction or missions are screwed.
I don't know if all of them will fail. It depends what type of mission they are, but I think some of them will survive. But anyway, I might be wrong.
Failed.
They're only supposed to fail. They're only supposed to fail if it says.
I got one that didn't fail.
Yeah, it should say in the mission description if it says it'll fail on mission destruction, or on ship destruction.
Most missions you'll fail if you get destroyed.
Okay. Well, sorry to hear that. How the hell did that happen again? I still don't really understand.
Well, I was trying to come in down to a planet. Apparently, it was coming in faster than I thought. I was trying to point my nose up and hit the afterburners to try and slow down, but it didn't do any good. I ended up hitting the surface too hard.
And didn't you have your shields up?
Shields were at full.
That must be a heavy gravity planet you were trying to land on then.
Probably.
A light gravity planet wouldn't have done that to you.
No.
I've
never done that, so it's just annoying.
Yeah, I've lost one ship, just like you did now, to gravity that way because the fucking planet pulls down on your ship harder than you expect. You don't look at the number of G's that the planet has all the time when you're looking at it in the star map.
Most time as you're approaching the planet, you watch a scale on the right side of your altimeter, and it tells you, gives you a pretty good idea.
Yeah, but if you're coming in gradually enough, it might not. And by the time you know what the hell's really going on, you're so close to the surface that, I mean,
The problem is, I was trying to slow down when I was still 3,000 kilometers from the surface.
many a time in this Anaconda, I've hit the surface without destroying the ship. But I've still
done that many times too. But
I've hit the surface but I mean, I try not to all the time. But I still ended up hitting the surface because the ship is just too damn heavy, and the planet's gravity was too harsh. And I'm being fucking attacked again.
fucking 16 missions I have to delete that failed.
Fuck me. I'm being attacked by an Anaconda expert level. Hang on. I
gotta go rebuild my reputation, I'm sure. I'm 70.95 light years from Email, where I need to go back to turn in the one mission I had completed before I blew up. I'm a little bit fucking annoyed now.
Hang on. I'm gonna be destroyed here. Hang on. No! Jesus, I went and hit the fucking afterburners the wrong way. Come on, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Move! 80%.
Yeah, my cargo holds.
You son of a bitch! Move! Jesus Christ! Barely got away with my fucking skin intact. Jesus Christ, that pisses me off. Now I'm gonna get screamed at because of my neighbor. Fuck! Give me a damn minute here. Come on! There we go. Oh. See, I don't even fucking know what time it is at night.
It's late. I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't be fucking raising my voice that fucking loud.
Yeah, you need to learn how to control yourself.
Well, I can't do that with, like, too much shit going on. If I've got people talking at me at the same time I'm trying to escape, I just can't deal with it. It's impossible. No matter how hard I try, I just can't. Oh shit, this is not good. I'm under attack again. It's the anaconda again. Same damn ship, same damn motif. I mean, normally I can actually get away, but now... Oh, Jesus, that fucking old goddamn hag. I just hate her so much.
Down there yelling at you now?
What? Oh, she will
Down
be.
there.
No doubt I'll have to pay for that fucking next week. She's such a fucking old bitch. I hate her so much. I just want to fucking kill her. I really, really do. She is just making my life an unbearable hell. Like, I'll scream like that. That last what, 30 seconds to a minute at most? She will make the biggest fucking scene about this.
Now, you do realize, though, that in the middle of the night like that, it is kind of...
I get that. Yeah, I'm not fucking dumb. But this is not a normal event. That is the one time in, like, God knows how many goddamn months and years that I've done something like that. And again, it happens only under a very select, very tiny number of circumstances. All of which presented themselves here. Like, the stars literally have to align for something like that to happen. And it still only happens for a goddamn minute. It is not worth reporting to a fucking landlord over and over and over again when it's some lesser infraction. I'll just tell the landlord I hurt myself or something.
They tell them you're taking a shower, you slipped and fell down and smacked yourself in the head.
No, that won't work because she can hear the shower running. I'll say I was boiling some water. The less variance there is with the truth, the better. If you're gonna lie, make sure that some portion of it is believable, at least.
That's why I enjoy having my own house. My neighbor is far enough away I can yell at the top of my lungs and the neighbor don't hear me.
Well, normally in a building like this, they wouldn't hear me either. And normally they don't. But that woman has made it unbearably unpleasant. And the other thing was just last weekend, there was a hooting and a hollering like you would not believe. Is anyone else being under threat of eviction? No. Just me. So she has a very double standard as far as I'm concerned. It's okay to complain about me, but no one else. And she warned me once. She says, I'm going to get you thrown out. Back when I first moved in here. Because I didn't show her the proper respect. In her mind. So there's that to go on as well. So she's like basically committed to making my life an unbearable hell. Now, if this goes to tribunal, let's suppose that it does. I don't think it will, but let's suppose it does. If by some fucking miracle it did, then it would still be up to her to have to produce evidence, and she's got nothing so far. Even that one incident would only give her one incident where she's actually got demonstrable proof. Now, there have been other people who complained about me making noise, but I've already questioned. I've said, well, how do they know it's me? And I'm always stymied by the landlord. Like, just, oh, we can't say. Really. In other words, you don't really have any evidence. someone heard some noises somewhere in the building. They're concluding it's me. It may in fact not be. Well, she's right below you. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm right below other people too. I hear noises all the time. Shall I start blaming them and get them into trouble? Well, not if you think I didn't do it. I think you're missing the point. How does she empirically know it's me? Did she come to my door? Did she listen? Did she, where is this noise coming from? How does she know? She knows it's coming from an upward direction, but how does she really know what the range is on it? In fact, she doesn't have any idea. And I conclude, therefore, she doesn't actually have any idea what the hell she's talking about. She doesn't know how far away it is. She doesn't know it's me. She doesn't know it's my voice. And even if I lost a tribunal, I can always appeal to the courts directly, and I would do so. I'd pay the $80 fee just to, like, extend it X number of months into the future. Because they're so backlogged that it would take them literally that long. And I've done everything. I've bent over backwards and tried my damnedest not to, like, cause any problems, but
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Why didn't you say anything? You're the one having all the malfunctions. Why didn't you say anything?
I didn't realize that you'd accepted the wing invite.
Oh. Well, sometimes I say hello and there's no one there, so. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tonight's not going so hot. I'm gonna change my path here. I was gonna do a bunch of scan missions, well, and I think since that didn't work out, I might do something different.
Well, I wouldn't take that many scan missions all at once, to be honest with you. There's just never a good
Usually
idea.
it's not a problem, but I'm not trying to do it in a fucking cutter either, so.
Okay,
I'll go see if I can chauffeur people around the galaxy on their tours.
give me a moment here. This thing, back. Davis Terminal is where again? Are you in the Sirius system?
No, I'm in Cubeo.
Who the hell's in Sirius system? Oh, Rush Hour Ninja is in there. Okay, that's good. The other thing I might do is I could actually tell a little bit of a fib to the landlord and say it was someone else I heard in the alley right next to the apartment. Preempted, in other words, by making my own report to the landlord. Makes it more believable. In their eyes. Why that is, I don't know. Just how they work. Quite frankly, I'm loath to even lie on that woman's behalf, but one does what they must. Frickin' anaconda.
Frameshift drive charging.
Of course, they have to put an anaconda right next to the target where my mission requires me to go. I'm lucky I have all those points allocated to Hull, or I would have been in deep shit. Entering Cone of Death.
Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits. Frameshift drive supercharged.
.7 light years jump. Jumping the ship.
Charging.
Of course, I'm carrying passengers that aren't very impressed when I take hull damage.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, they're both ranked as... Well, one's happy, the other's miserable. But still honoring the agreement for the moment. But I can't have another altercation like that where I take damage. And then as if it wasn't bad enough to have one anaconda, a second one jumps in. So I have two anacondas on me at the same time, both using Type 4 pulse cannons against me.
Frameshift drive charging. Passengers inboard launched. Mission failed. Fuel saving.
What?
Fuel cell disengaged.
One of my missions now shows as failed for some reason. I'm on approach to the target starbase. It doesn't say why, it just says the mission failed. That's bullshit. That was the more, and of course it's always the more lucrative of the two, but I don't think I violated any agreements. Wait a minute. No, that's not it. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
The computer fails every 5 minutes, so it's hard to tell. Five, four, three. It still takes Frontier too long to remedy corrections when there's been an update to Windows and they need to do a fix. Like, I don't know when or if they even bother with these fixes until the next update of the software, but they're following some sort of old school waterfall philosophy of how updates should work, I think. It seems...
All the stupid missions that I failed on just nailed the shit out of most of my reputations. I'm now friendly everywhere instead of allied, which means I can't get any good missions again.
Yeah, it sucks. No question.
Request approved. Assigned to landing pad 09er. Clear for automated approach vectoring.
I'm just lucky I get to deliver one of my 2 primary missions. Unfortunately, it's not worth shit. I had a lot longer to finish the second one than the first one, but whatever.
Make way for oncoming traffic. Restrict your speed.
Landing gear deployed.
This station operates peacefully.
Landing successful. Ship secured.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
Are you freaking joking? See, and now there's people making other noises elsewhere in the building. I can hear them stomping up and down on the floor in the apartment above me. But I'm not going to accuse them because I don't know it is them. I don't know where these noises are coming from. And I refuse to let that woman bother me like that.
I'm thinking since I'm having a shitty night, I might say screw it and go to bed.
Uh-oh, my computer just had a malfunction. One moment. Seagate backup drive failed on my system. Drive F has failed. Why that is or what that's about, I don't know. I don't need computer problems right now. I really do not. How about showing me some options, computer? Well, you can go to bed if you want. I'm going to be on here for quite a while yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking I'm gonna do, so I'll probably talk to you later.
Okay, have a good night.
Yep, you too.
Righto. Oh, this is going to be so frustrating. Ooh, there's a close one. 3.1 million, 2 passengers, 10 hours, 42 minutes. 173.41 light years away now. Distance 136 for 2.2 million. 264 light years for another 2 million. 2.3 million. But it's a criminal, of course. No. Kellyanne LeBlanc, criminal. Resource sites, nav beacons, and signal sources. Find targets. 16, eh? $1.7 million, that's pretty good for that level. I'll take that one. Oh my god. Light and stars. 424 and Gomat. Oh, there's got to be some passengers here. Come on. It's too far for that much money. Ooh, there's one.
Unnecessary delays and/or ship destruction.
And still need economy passengers. Well, ow. Lyman Franklin. Ingrid Toby. Visitor beacon. It's not very well. Danger. 16 hours. It is 3,000,036. Yeah, okay.
Docking bay access is a crime. Don't risk annihilation. Make way.
Shift attach complete. Clear for departure.
think it's only 0. Ours running. Yeah, phosphorus enough. Okay, I'm going to my ship. How far is it to the top still? Like, are we there yet? Are we like on the top yet? Like, this mountain just doesn't stop. So, let's see. Dave says... Jesse has 16 for our things, and Jesse has, of course, the... Well, deceit, if you want to call it that, because that's what we like calling it now. It's the deceit system. Hello, choking me, Bobbies.
Hello.
Paused. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
How are you doing?
Pretty good. Had a good visit with Mom today, so things are good.
Good. I'm glad that went well.
Yeah, me too. What are you up to?
Oh, I'm trying to figure out why Elite is crashing on startup. When I go into the galaxy map for the first time, the game just craps out, and it's only started happening since the latest Windows update. So I imagine it has something to do with it, but it's only happening in Elite. So type compatibility problem with Elite? I don't know.
Do you run the Steam launcher or do you run the stock launcher?
Well, I run the stock Frontier launcher.
Right, same as me. Good. Have you ever tried just launching Elite without the Horizons add-on to see if it fix it? Things that don't work? Things like that?
No, because I like the Horizons features, and without it, you can't get access to certain things.
There's different graphics involved with Horizons load up. That's the thing.
What kind of different graphics?
They use different kinds of things.
Okay. Aren't they better?
No.
No. I still use it.
Let's put it this way. There's a different set of residual memory that's holding information from previous Horizon sessions that if you run non-Horizons, it gives you the chance to flush that, I think.
Oh, okay.
Make sure you put your startup shaders on and then try your galaxy map problem and see if it's still there or not.
Yeah, no, I run the shaders every single time that I load Elite, so...
But you don't run the, just the regular old 64-bit Horizons.
No.
That's the only thing that you can do is to say, oh, well, if it's Horizons, something to do with it, then I'll try it without... Or maybe when you go back to Horizons, it might jiggle it loose there. You never know.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm just curious to see if you were having the same issue or if anyone else is. I know that it's...
My issues are deep and wide. My computer will not accept Windows updates, graphics updates. The GeForce Experience app has been removed. My sound drivers aren't so great, and my iTunes program will also not update. So my issues are deep and wide, and as long as my game is continuously playing, my V-Sync is on, so I'm locked at 60, and I've got double monitors up so to get rid of a little bit of that extra bad graphics lag, and don't run ED Discovery all the time, and I'm pretty smooth, and I'm happy with it. So I'm not doing shit
my ED
until it goes critical.
ED Discovery is running on a separate system here, so I network over the file sharing network and under
That's
domain.
A good idea.
Under domain. Under domain Windows networking and sharing security. So there's no way that's responsible. And like I said, this is all recent developments. I haven't changed how I load or play Elite. It used to be fine before, so something has changed.
Yeah.
So
you know it.
I want to know what that was that they changed. I want to know why they aren't testing for it now. But it seems like they...
Oh, okay. I got a new question, a new possibility. Do you ever use any of the recording or streaming services?
Yeah, X-Wave is the...
X-Wave.
Yeah, or not X-Wave, X whatever. X-Split, sorry. X-Split.
X-Split.
Yeah.
Okay. You've never tried the built-in Windows one?
No, well, I have. No, that's not true. I have tried it. It's garbage, and I used I found out recently. There's one that the elite reporters like to use, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's a public domain one called Open ODSM or something. Yeah.
Yeah, ODSM is very popular. That's what gives you all the power to use different windows and placements and so forth.
Yeah.
Whereas the stock one uses that service that I haven't launched in so long. Mixer, isn't it? No, it used to be Mixer. Now it's called something else.
XSplit is pretty good. It's simple, but the problem is it's so simple that they do everything for you. And there's only a few options you can tinker with it. Like if you want to use RDS addressing instead of just saying, oh, I want to hook up to my YouTube account, then you can. But for some reason,
the only sort of thing that I would troubleshoot there is to flip that on and off, try the game with it on, try it with it off, and see if it shakes it loose.
Well, what I did originally was I used the RDS addressing, and for a long time it was fine. It would always use the RDS URL address, right? And then it would go RDS:/ and media server name and whatever. And then all of a sudden it goes, oh, and now I recognize RDS as being, this address is a YouTube address, and it switched it over to YouTube and reconfigured my YouTube to use that. So now it just defaults back to YouTube again. Although YouTube, the reason I started using RDS is because their YouTube settings had failed. Now the YouTube settings work. So I don't know. Anyway, I fixed it, but it doesn't really tell me what's going on here. And I know that it's likely responsible for a lot of whatever issues I have with Elite are just the result of this third-party product that I use to record. But I'm determined to record my sessions unless I switch to whatever that open recorder is, which I might do in the end just to see. Okay, we're approaching a toxic planet. It's Mildeptu B1. You've probably been here before.
Is it in the bubble?
Oh yeah, it's Broccoli City. Or Buckley City, I beg your pardon. I like to joke and call it Broccoli City, because it reminds me of broccoli. I don't know, anyway. And now, we're 20,000 kilometers away from it. Creeping up on it slowly. Oh yeah, I had an ally. So one of my wingmen decided to assassinate me last night, or the night before last, I beg your pardon. And so I de-winged him and defriended him, and that's the last time we'll be seeing him. His name is Iron Jaguar.
Did you block him too?
Yep. He's the second user I blocked on the system. There was one other. But I won't... he wanted to apologize and everything. I said, no, I don't care. Bye.
Was he from Canada?
No, he's from New York. New York.
Oh. I had a guy I had to do that with in Canada. His tag was Emotions.
Well, that's a dangerous name to start with, but okay.
Yeah, every time I looked at him or saw his name, I was thinking of that Mariah Carey song. Oh, here comes Motions. Yeah, right on Motions. Yeah, he was a different kind of bird, that guy.
Well, I don't mind different. What I mind is people like who, you give them all. Well, you give them all the information that you get in a wing, and then suddenly, because they get pissed off with some offhand remark you make, that they just decide they're going to kill you, and then they feel badly about it afterwards. They try to make amends. It's like, well, no, you killed my first officer, you wiped out all my missions, and you cost me the replacement value of the ship. Not really interested in taking that risk again, so why would I still be friends with you? Nothing personal.
You still flying open.
What's
Very
that?
good.
Well, of course I'll
And
still fly
you still
open.
continue to fly an open.
Oh yeah, I'll fly an open. I just don't want to have to deal with his apologies or whatever, so I'm not really interested. There's a mutual...
You signed up for the Mobius group, is that true?
Yeah,
Awesome. You did that quite a while ago, or just recently?
quite a while ago.
Yeah, you don't use it much, though, obviously.
Not really.
I never see you on private.
I'm trying to build...
I have a few friends that I talk to that only play Mobius, and I'm kind of upset because I don't have any deal with it. Nothing to do with that.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to build like a squad of like-minded commanders who want to remain somewhat independent, but who want to also try the fleet carrier out when it comes out later on this year. So I've got resources devoted to that, and finding it tough going getting people interested, because unless you already have a wing, or unless you get them to commit, and summertime's a terrible people to get people in this game to commit to anything.
No doubt.
But that's understandable.
Tell me about it. Like, here comes wing mining missions with this update, as if I'm going to be able to get anyone that I know to come and wing mine mission with me. But hopefully there'll be
Oh, there will be
one person.
There will be one or two. A squad will do it as long as you, if you reach out to him, he'll definitely do that.
Oh yeah, we chatted up last night pretty good.
Yeah.
I was yattering at him, and probably the same time you were talking to him.
Well, I was having my issues at some point with Iron Jaguar, so I just sort of I had to walk away for 5 minutes. I actually logged off. I was just like, okay, I'm kind of upset here. I'm just going to walk away. Came back 5 minutes.
Playing a good game when you got to do that.
Yeah. So and I came back and I sat down and I defriended him and all the rest of it, and then I just went, okay, what was I doing now? and I started immediately back to rebuilding where I was at. He wiped out over 1 million credits in bonds, which I had for an engineering upgrade I was going to get. And he wiped it and he killed it, so I had to start that over. So now I only have 1/4 of it done right now, instead of having it finished. But I'll get it done this week at some point, by myself. No biggie. It's just a game. I mean, how serious can I take it, right? I was a bit surprised he was like... I was a bit surprised he was like so profuse in his apology right immediately after. I found it a bit suspect. I thought, well, let's see, he did it right in front of, one other person.
But see, there's that recording thing. You
And there's that too, yeah.
And then post it to somewhere that he doesn't want people to see it. That's why a lot of people take it back after the first attack, and they're like, whoa, wait, whoa.
Well, that's why I just said, no, I'm not, I don't trust you. I'm just not gonna, like, I can forgive, whatever, but there's no point in us remaining in each other's contact lists, because I'm never gonna trust you again as soon as you pull that kind of stunt, because you were frustrated with something I said. If you're frustrated with something I said, say I'm not going to help you anymore and wander off and be pissed off for 5 minutes. But don't be assassinating my ship and trying to ruin my game for me. That's just petty.
Yeah. You had a crewmate that you were trying to rank up and just about got to elite and stuff like that.
Pretty much,
They don't know that.
They don't know that, no. And he's like,
you might be, three little things away from some material that you're collecting,
that's what
and you're just about to collect it. And
that's what he tried telling his squaddle. He tries to tell his squaddle, oh, I'm so sorry, and blah, 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 and I'm just like, and his squad's like, can't you give him another chance? I'm like, no, I mean, there's really no point. I just know myself well enough to know that it's just not worth it. There's no point.
Were you winged to each other? You said you de-winged and afterwards?
Well, we were winged. He was helping me get those that million credits worth of bonds. And then I can't even remember the comment I made. It was something like, I think I was being critical of him yeah, that's what it was. He kept moving his ship in front of me between my line of fire and his Alliance chieftain.
Get out of my way, yeah.
And I said, I'm hitting you. I'm worried I'm going to get bounty. And he's like, whatever. And it's like, it's only happened once or twice. It's like, no, it's more like 500 times at this point. Like, I have been quiet about it, but I just want to point out this is going on. and could you please stop doing it? And he's like, well, if you're gonna be an asshole like that, and he was vicious. Like, you should have heard the tone in his voice. In fact, you can go on to the, and it was just
bipolar.
And he was just vicious the way he sounded. Then, like 10 seconds later, he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I did that." And it's like, well, whatever. I don't really care if you were.
But anyway, back to the actual attack.
Yeah.
He attacked your ship and killed it outright. He said. He killed.
This is at the end of a battle. The ship was damaged already.
Do you have authorization?
While you were winged.
While I was winged with him, yeah.
And do you know what his crimes and punishment effect was? You know, like
no, I never found out.
That would be good to know.
I know it would. I was wondering about that.
Isn't there something to do with the value of your ship is part of his
well, what he'll do is he'll probably just not log in for a week, and then it'll all go away. I mean, there's only one of me,
right.
So
his notoriety should have went from 0 to 1.
To 1, yeah,
thing.
Yeah, probably did.
And then he needed anonymous access, but only in the system that it happened in, right? In the jurisdiction.
And he couldn't clear that.
So he can't just go to an interstellar factors?
No, not you can't. Not if you murder someone, you can't. And he murdered my first officer, so yeah. I mean, I was safe in the escape.
You did have a crewmate.
Yeah, I did have a crewmate. And he was almost out of leads.
He was not.
Yes, he was. He'd been with me. He'd been with me for like a month.
Now I'm pissed for you. Now I'm upset. Because that's a lot of work. That's way more work than your million credits.
Well, that's what he said. He said, I'll pay you.
I've got one in elite, and the other one's almost there. When they get in trouble.
And then, and I felt badly for them too, because I thought, oh shit, well, I'm the one who made the comment, and now I got this guy killed, and now I lose him, and I lose all the investment. So, like, if I just kept my big mouth shut, and, you know, just whatever, it would have been a little bit easier. But I just thought I figured I could make that comment of someone in my wing, and plus I knew this guy for a while. I'd recommended him to a squad and a couple other people. I thought, oh, he's fine. There's no big deal. No.
It is now.
It is now. Yeah. So now I just don't. Well, it's not really a big deal. I just don't want to hang out with him. But I mean, if a squad wants to, or if anyone else wants to, I don't really care. I'm just not going to have it myself. But he was I know this. He did fly. He followed me around for a bit. He did fly to the space station that I was at.
What?
And
they didn't attack him.
And they didn't attack him. So he was at least allowed to.
He might have used stealth.
And he might have refueled, and that might have been his only service. I don't know. I know you can land.
He might have used
the stealth trick
to get in.
Yeah, the stealth trick. I know about that one. So.
Yeah, I have no experience in what happens with all that stuff, player to player, so I'd really like to know, like, what are the effects, how do I fix them, so that I can get into that type of thing and have a little bit of heads up on the consequences.
Well, if you really want, what I can do is I can make myself available as a guinea pig. I can just go get my Sidewinder, you can come blow it up, see what happens to your character as a result. Yeah. That way, there's no first officer.
That'd be okay.
I'm only losing a Sidewinder, and I get ejected into space. But so what? I'm picked up again, and I get to have my Sidewinder back even. So if I want, so it doesn't even really matter.
And then I get whatever I get, and I have to pay attention, or else it's not worth it.
Yeah, but you make sure you're ready, because you can't be in a bad place and do that, because.
No.
You never know what'll happen to you. I may not want it to happen to you, and it could still happen. But yeah, no, as long as we arrange ahead of time, I have no problem with it. But he just, he was just pissed off. And he snuck up behind me and is like, I'm being hit by some sort of major weaponry, right? Like, I know I'm being hit. At first, I had no idea where these shots were coming from. And then I noticed his icon is flashing on my scope. And I'm going, did you just shoot at me? and he didn't answer. I go, you're shooting at me. And then eventually I engaged the jump to safe coordinates outside the system because it does a faster jump away from danger.
It's highwaking is the way to go.
And it's by the time that it was cycled and ready to jump, he had already finished me off. So there was no way for me
What
to.
kind of ship did he have? Conda?
No, he had the Alliance Chieftain. I was flying the Conda.
Ooh, you're cheapy.
Yeah. But I don't know. That reaction surprised me. I was like, holy shit. And he was ribbing me too. Like I said, I was kind of bugging them a couple times. They made like Esquadla and him made a couple comments. Of course I didn't take them seriously. About my being Canadian and whatnot. And I said, oh yeah, well, you put two Americans together in the same room and look what happens. Comments like that were going back and forth, but it was fairly harmless stuff, I thought. But apparently it was kind of starting to get under his skin. So.
So about the topic of testing, like test bedding on people doing death tests, I'm also extremely open to being the recipient or whatever of
target
weapons tests.
Yeah.
So if you get some new gun you want to try and you want me at certain shield level or a certain ship you want to try it against, you let me know and we'll set it up for the same type of thing, like I'm in.
Okay.
That's easy. I've got a lot of cash to rebuy with and don't care about.
And you're elite, right? So you can go to Shinartra, Desra, and get replacement ships fairly easily. Yeah?
Well, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. Because I'm not elite yet. I still got like another 40% to go, so I'll get there, but not quite there yet. It'll come. It'll probably happen.
There's a place you can go now.
You know what? I'll probably get it. I'm gonna lay money. I will probably get it before the update, before the end of June.
Okay.
I'll
That's
probably.
pretty cool. So, you know about Isola Prospect? Never heard of that place?
No.
It's on a planet. Their prices are a little more. But they are the same as Shinartra Desra. They have every single thing, every item, every component, weapon, every alien thing, all the stuff you've unlocked that you got to go and find. It's, I can look real quick and see the system name.
I gotta dump a passenger
it's like 20%
here.
more, though. It's 20% more than normal. That's the problem. It's not a heavy gravity planet.
But they offer everything.
Yeah, every single thing in the game. If Desra gets it, then so does Isola Prospect.
Okay, hang on a second. I'm going to send you a web address. One moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I won't. On here.
I'm in the Gal map.
I know I did this wrong, but I want to give you this so you can pass on resources easily. If you're willing, that is.
I'm looking at it.
One moment.
I can screen grab even. Do a little screen grab there.
I'll just do that one. Okay, and here we are with the keyboard. Okay, HTTPS. Apple Factory. That. Okay. Now, that site that I just gave you the address to, that will let you in, well, it doesn't let you in by default, but if you also, hang on, mail this, there. If you email that address with your desired account info, I can either set up an account for you, or if you have an existing Microsoft account already, I can make that one work with this site.
Which does what?
There's information, that's my information repository, and Esquadla's information repository. We both store information there about various things that we discover about the game, and it's part of the beginnings of a squadron an information resource that I'm compiling, which you, of course, as a member, will have full access to, if you wish.
Well, say that again. I was lazing. What was that? Are you inviting me over to your house?
Yeah. Just
No, I'm not going to do that.
no.
I've done that. I've been there. I've got lots of that going on. Spread pretty thin.
But anyway, that's where you.
Put together good when it's.
That's
when,
where
know,
you
like
send
the
in.
time.
If you have information that you don't find online with me when
Oh, you
I'm
mean
still
like
here.
where this Isola prospect
Yes.
and stuff like that?
Yes.
That's what you mean?
Yes.
Ah.
That's what this is for.
Well, that's what Discord is for. Again, I use
Yeah,
Discord.
well, you can put it.
all
You know
day. I
what?
even
You
have
can,
my girlfriend on Discord.
fine. Put it on Discord. Then you have my account info there as well.
I do?
I think so. Didn't we exchange that before?
Oh, yeah, like I wrote that down.
Give me a moment. I'll give it to you again. No, but.
Good. That's cool.
But you can still
It
send
does
me
screw with
information.
your sound settings if you don't have it set up right.
I know. But luckily, it won't screw with your sound settings if it won't link with Elite. It has to link with Elite to do that.
Wrestler. Copy.
And you use the Windows client, not the stupid
Sometimes I usually use the dedicated app, but sometimes I use both. Once they started putting in the spell check in the dedicated app, I stopped using my Google web client for it, because that's the only reason I was using it. I wanted correct spelling, and spell check was in Chrome, so now it's all part of it. And it runs so much smoother and so many more options and shit like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, here's the link. I usually use the clipping tool, but I'll just use this link right now.
But anyway, that site that I sent you is a SharePoint site, so it's pretty awesome. Just the way it's
SharePoint?
Yeah, the way it stores
What's that?
It's an Office tool that lets you.
Office?
Microsoft.
I don't have any Office stuff installed at all.
You don't need. You don't
I don't
need.
even have WordPad.
Listen, you don't have to have any Office crap installed. You just need a web browser. And it will basically just, the way it stores and presents information is, I think, one of the best ways to do it. So that's why I'm in love with
I'm using a
SharePoint.
blocker on my web browser. It won't allow cookies. Does that matter?
Yes, it does. I think.
Oh,
Wait,
so I gotta make you accept the cookies.
I'm not sure, actually. Now, let me take that back. I'm not actually sure, because it uses the Microsoft security applet. So if you use Edge, I don't think it will matter at all. You can be cookieless on Edge. It will use your security token to re-authenticate you if it needs to. You do like security tokens, don't you?
Token?
Yes, it's a
I have
token.
no idea what that is.
Here, I'll send you one. There. Now you have a security token.
Discord?
Never mind how, it just happened.
Here's a handy screenshot of Bresla. Probably don't need.
Well, send me whatever you have. Then I will put it up on the site. Haha!
The site.
Well, the closed one. The one that I and a very few other people have access to, like a squaddle. And you want to have this information anyway.
Kind of surprised you didn't know it already.
Oh!
It's been around for a year.
Okay.
Plus.
Envoy Antoinette Sparks. He's a scary looking person. Have you noticed some of these Imperials, they just have this scary looking... I don't know. They're like bald and they're wearing black lipstick and it's like, holy shit. Did you just crawl out of the grave? I didn't mean to disturb you.
Avoid unnecessary destruction.
Broccoli City. Wouldn't you like to visit Broccoli City?
All day.
I can only imagine. It's a city made of broccoli. You get horrible indigestion from it. It's very basic. Oh, they want me to go to Wolf 359. Terrible battle fought there. Just awful. Exit. Computer. Launch protocols engage. I'm carrying 108. No. Platinum. Everybody loves platinum. Platinum. Okay, now we have 18 million credits. A lunch. Why are you in the LFT-65 system? Hello?
Hello?
Why are you in the LFT-65 system?
Well, because it's a pristine metallic mining ring on Planet 4.
Planet 4, okay.
And it's anarchy. There's nobody here. There's no population. It's a white dwarf.
Are there people trying to kill you?
Oh, no.
No? Okay.
Nobody knows about this place. Except for you now. And maybe, I don't know, a dozen others.
Maybe I should...
It's right close to several major population centers of high tech, and, you know, Seoul is pretty close. Shinarstradesra isn't too far. LHS 20 is real, you know, like, it's all right here. LHS 134 is where I sort of used to hang out before I decided to move out of the bubble. Because of this system. There's three main pristine metallics in the bubble. There's, you know, Delcar, Bahar, and this place, as far as I'm concerned. Everything else is on the fringe because it's been mined, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm moving to Wolf 424. That's near the Sol system. It's within 25 light year sphere.
Wolf 424?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Oh, it's up north.
And I'll be coming up on Wolf 359 next.
It's only 21 million, did it say? 24 million.
Yeah, there's a few people here, but not many. I don't even know what security rating
Got a
is.
4,800 light second out. Landable, you got a bunch of ice. Oh, high metal.
Medium. Where's Seoul?
0.1.
There it is.
0.3 G. Nice. And so that's tungsten. Yeah, antimony, tungsten. Very good. And the other one is niobium, yttrium, molybdenum.
Molybdenum.
Pretty good. Lots of good stuff. Tin, beryllium. Lots of good stuff in that system.
Yeah. No polonium though.
Single belt. Metallic. You know what a belt does, right? You can relog in a belt all day and probably get, I don't know, a few painite out of it.
Possibly. I haven't tried any of
Low
it.
reserve, so very low. That's bad.
Yeah.
You got your 40% influence in the future, Wolf 2.4 future with, yeah, they got all the regular stuff. No mat trader or anything like that, but there's a black market. No interstellar faction. They take aluminum. They make crop harvesters. Okay. It's one of them, eh?
Prosperous agrarian.
Extraction industrial combo. Nice station. Is it Orbis or a Coriolis? It's got to be a Coriolis, yeah.
It's Alexandrov base is the target. Standby. It is a Coriolis space station. No, that's Ready Gateway, but that is the main station.
So 424 Future also controls the outward station on Planet 4. That's interesting that another faction doesn't control it.
It's a stable system with medium security, no warfare.
Web Holdings, there you go. They do it again on Web Holdings. Boy, they really got the cornerstone. Do they even have this little non-landable place over here? But then there's limited, 424 limited over here, and limited over here. So there's their main competition. And what else?
Target star is now within range because I have
Why did you choose this place?
passenger has a high payment requirement to be delivered here. There's business.
Passenger.
Yes. I've been making money off of passengers and missions lately because the.
Oh yeah, there's Alexandrov.
Yeah. Because there haven't been that many good opportunities on the delivery.
Oh, I see. It's military. Military, nice. You might be able to get the outfitting to spit you out some good Guardian shit later on when you unlock that. That's where you go to get shit like that, especially if it's one of those larger, big circular bases, like it looks like on the icon. I wish it would tell you, just because you see it on the icon on the map doesn't mean that that's what it is.
No, but it does if you look on the system scan screen on the left pane. If the icons there are usually fairly representative, although you can only tell the difference between an Orbis and a
Coriolis.
and a Cellus and a Coriolis space.
But it doesn't have a shipyard.
No
It's
shipyard.
got a black market.
No Navy.
But it doesn't have a shipyard.
No Navy presence here. No. For that, you have to go to Beta Hydra. For that, you have to go to Beta Hydri. That's where the shipyards are for the Federation.
Got mercury in system too, polonium, germanium, everything but arsenic, eh?
Is that right?
Arsenic.
No
Yeah,
arsenic.
no arsenic.
Arsenic's my favorite. You can make poisons out of it. Okay, approaching planet Alpha 4, Alexandra base.
There you go.
Stellar component A, planet 4. Pontus terminal is the main station in orbit. However,
81 light years from me. Very nice.
Pontus is, of course, a small landing, possible terrorist carrier, but a small station.
You know why that this system is not heavily used and known? Because since it is unpopulated and the rings don't really look like there could be a metallic, not a lot of people would bother to scan planets in here. They'll scan the star and then they'll leave and play around because there's so many other places that are close, right? If it had something next to it like another big planet, then people would dip into the system and then they'd go, oh, well, let's see what these rings are. Ooh, look at that. Pristine metallic. But they don't, so that's why it's kind of, not a lot of people mine in this game to start with, so.
No.
There's no Hazret,
But it's
right?
no
population, there's no nothing here.
It's a little odd. Like, your system is a white dwarf, which means that you do get a 50%, at least 50% boost in distance if you use the Cone of Death.
Sure.
And have a fuel scoop.
But I don't need to worry about jump distance, what I'm doing, where I'm at. It's the middle of the bubble. Like, don't really care.
No.
But you're right. You're right. It's a fun, useless fact. You need a fuel scoop to use it, and I never use one when I go mining, so I never get to even try it and dip into it.
Yeah.
To me, it's just another obstacle to fly past. The the planet I'm at is 1,700 light seconds in from the stars, so you don't really even get to see much unless you do a full, you know, get right in there and see what's going on, scan.
Okay, now docking at the station. This looks like an almost unique starport.
That's why I wanted you to remember to take that detailed surface scanner the next time we went on our little exploration hunt, because that's the only thing that tells you.
Oh yeah,
unless you actually get to the ring and start mining, then you can know too. But
it was very unusual for me not to have a detailed surface scanner last time we spoke. But oh. Holy shit.
I never asked you how much money you made from that. How much cred or rep? Was it really much, or 5 mil, 8 mil, 12 mil?
I think it was 5.
I made about 9.
5.6
yeah,
or 5.7. Yeah, something like that. Between 5 and 6. Pretty high side of 5 anyway.
Nice. You can do that anywhere. You don't have to leave the bubble.
No, I know. Okay. Now, it's a fairly well established city by the looks of things here. At least there's a town. There's some tall buildings.
It's one of those giant circular ones, right? With the city on the inside.
No, this one has there's no frontier. So it just sort of peters out. There's some buildings on the outskirts, and then it's just
not the big round one.
No.
I love those ones so much. They're so fun.
The big round one, you know what they do with the big round one? The big round one, they can actually drop into place from orbit. It actually has its own floor.
Oh.
They don't actually need to build anything on the surface. They can just build it in orbit and then just drop the thing right out of orbit.
I would imagine.
And then put it right on the planet's
Doesn't
surface.
need an anchor. So that's why you see them in such weird places.
Yeah.
Out in the open almost.
Yeah, they can't
like
drop
no
them.
Cover.
There's no. You're not going to see one in the middle of a valley or in the middle of a ravine or one of those crevasses.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we go to the passenger lounge. And we don't have...
Focusing on money right now? Is that why you're doing passenger missions?
Not just passenger. I usually group my passenger missions together with missions.
Yum yum. But your focus is you need money. Is that what?
Well, I just lost. Don't forget, I was just assassinated. I lost 10 million, so I need that back.
Oh,
Plus,
I thought you said 1 million for some reason.
No, it's 10.
That's probably not. Oh, you lost 1 million in bonds. Yeah.
Well, I lost 1 million in
Your refi
bonds,
was 10.
plus 10,
Yeah.
plus I lost, you know, missions I had. Missions I had finished, my commander, I lost universal cartographics. I mean, when you kill someone, you really do fuck them over. Like, it's not friendly. Although that troll that was chasing me around the galaxy seems to have gone away this weekend. I thought I was going to have to deal with him again, but he doesn't seem to put in an appearance so far.
Maybe he blocked you.
I hope so. I really do. I hope I never...
I've never had to do that.
No, and I was...
Someone off my friends list, but I've never blocked anyone.
I feel somewhat ashamed. I mean, one person, okay, that's an exception, but now there's 2 on my block list. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't even have to have...
Amazing. It's loud.
I shouldn't even have 1 there, really, in my opinion, but whatever. It's just an easy way out for me. Yeah, so that's this one. It's in the main mission screen. Put that off. Go back here. Go back to mission board.
Oh, no, boys.
I wanted reputation. I didn't get it. Oh.
Mission critical message.
Oh no.
You could board hop. I don't think you're a board hopper.
Oh no. Wait. Something happened here. A secondary contract appeared. The Duamta Jet Power Commodities reputation changed. It's now back to cordial. Lyman Franklin. Oh, speaking of Lyman Zerga, did you see the movie Ocean's 8 yet?
Well, you know what? I was just telling somebody about that earlier. I want to see it. I don't think it's out, is it?
Yeah, it's out as of Friday, but I don't think you'll necessarily see it on Cat or on any of the other torrent sites like RBG or RARBG or. I think it's going to be
I don't know what those are.
Well, those are torrent sites that basically list the latest, greatest movies, usually within a day.
I know what torrents are, but I don't have a very good site for it because all I've got is the Pirate Bay, and it sucks. So
yeah, Pirate Bay is.
If you got one that you don't have to have a special login for or something, be invited to, put it on that Discord.
I will never ever subscribe to a pirate site, to a torrent site that wants me to log in.
Or a VPN. I bet you use a VPN though, don't you?
Not often. I do have one, but I don't use it that often because the only time I use it is when Bell sends me those annoying messages saying, "We know you're pirating. We're monitoring your protocol feed." It's like, oh my god, you're using torrents. Holy shit.
From Bell.
From Bell, yeah. They can tell based on the throughput. And do you know when they send those messages through? When it's Bell 5, their movie carrier, when they have a conflict with that and one of the torrents I've downloaded. Like for Game of Thrones, I used to get them all the time.
You saw, and they mentioned it once, but they never bothered me again.
Yeah, most people they're not going to go after, and most people they do go after don't have any idea how to defend themselves properly, either before the courts or from the technology standpoint. I have a pretty good line on both, because sometimes I've received those notices too when I haven't been doing any downloading, and they just think I am, and it's like, well, but I'm not. I was looking at a website.
Your original question there about Ocean's 8.
Yeah.
What about it? Did you see it? Is it
No,
really
just
funny?
curious.
Is it
Yeah,
good?
yeah. Have you seen it?
It looks really good, the trailer. I've seen the trailer twice today, and I want to see it.
Oh, there is a rescue mission. It's in the Wolf 359 system. It's an escape pod, and I will accept it because I accept rescue missions.
Is it timed? Like you have to be there at a certain time?
A day plus.
No, I mean not the time limit, but the window.
No.
The window?
No window.
It's not like an assassination mission has a window.
And they want me to retrieve the pod from Wolf 359 and return it to Columbus Base in the solar system. Which is why
Just to make sure you're not looking at a 500,000 light second fly, and you're off you go.
No, this guy got shot down in Wolf 359. He wants to be reawakened or reanimated back on Earth. So I will take him to Earth for his reanimation ceremony.
Oh, I'm gonna be mining again. Lazy.
Well, if you get shot down, ask to be taken back to Earth. And not the detention.
I've been to Sol a couple times, but since there's stuff that's locked and there's no real ships there to buy, I've never really spent much time there.
It's an interesting system. They're putting more stuff into Sol, but I wish they would do more with Sol and more with Akinar. Those two systems in particular, I think, should have more interesting shit in them. But there will, when they do atmospheric flying, you'll be able to land on cities of Earth and cities of Mars, but not yet.
Yeah. There's that atmospheric landings talk again. I read a little more about it. They're saying Q1 2019 is when that's going to hit. They're going to go hard.
Going to go hard, okay.
Well, we might get a taste of it at the end of this year, but I don't think they're going to go hard on it until next year.
That's what I heard.
Then they go hard.
That's what I heard, was that they were going to give us a taste by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's about it. Maybe one planet type out of 12 or something like that.
Something like that, just to sort of preview it. But the main issue is the weather and the braking maneuvering that you have to do ahead of entering the planet's atmosphere, so your ship doesn't burn up.
Sort of wanted reason to go there. Like, what's down on one of those surfaces that isn't on one of the ones we can go to now?
Cities.
And why does everybody want to go there?
Cities. They had them in Elite 2.
What, more missions?
Elite 2 Frontier had them. You could do more missions. The protocols for taking off were different from the planet's surface. And when you enter a planet's atmosphere, like in Elite 2 Frontier, you had to worry about the atmosphere a lot more. Like, if it's an airless moon, you can go as fast as you fucking want in your ship. There's no speed, there's no slowing down, but you need to do a braking maneuver if you're going to come in at too steep an angle into a planet's atmosphere in real life. And I want to see some more skill involved in landing on planets.
Yeah, overheating like crazy, maybe showing like a burn-up effect like you see on a re-entry vehicle.
That's right.
That would be cool.
I want to see flames coming off the top of my Anaconda if I come in there. I want to see that shit spilling right over into my windshield, so that, I mean, it's fine if I make it through, but I still want to see the effect of...
But there's also going to be the time spent trying to get back in orbit. Ooh, they probably won't let you jump like 2 clicks above the surface right into a highway.
Can you imagine? Right, well, no, can you imagine? Like, okay, we're entering hyperspace right over New York City. Yeah. You know, all of a sudden, like, everyone just notices your ship fucking bolt right through the sky.
Oh, it kills thousands of people with the shock.
The resulting shock comes...
Boosting knocks things down that should never knock down.
Yeah. Watch buildings topple behind you, and then you're wanted in the system forever.
That exploded over Russia a couple years ago. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Windows being knocked out.
Yeah. Now these ships aren't...
And of course, it's not just you and your ship; it's hundreds of other commanders doing it too. So.
Right. So I mean, if you trigger your hyperdrive, someone should like send up a... I mean, there should be consequences to it, right? You can't just like turn on your hyperdrive in the middle of a city and then just have it just go boom, you know, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
Elite 2 Frontier, you were allowed to engage your it was a different hyperdrive technology, but you were allowed to engage your hyperdrive once you're outside the planet's atmosphere, if memory serves. So as long as you got above the...
To jump to another system.
To jump to another system, yeah. Because your hyperdrive was based on hyperspatial cloud technology instead of Wakepoint. So... So the clouds enabled people to chase after you, basically. There'd be like a little...
That information that you just pulled out of your head, is that the type of thing that you're putting into this repository?
No.
Lore? Like
no.
Techno lore? Because I'd be a little more interested if that was the case.
Well, if you want me to write...
hearing about all that stuff.
You want me to write about it? Well, I do put some of the lore does go in there as long as it's sourced. So as long as I have like an actual quote from someone who's got Elite 2 installed still, and there was one from Obsidian Ant about a month and a half to 2 months ago, where he did it like a big thing on Elite 2 Frontier. But we'd have to look at the features again and then say here's what came before. But I mean, I do remember that part of the reason that I have the site is to actually capture this stuff, right? So that at the end of a session, if I hear or see something and know the source, I can just jot it down, put it into the site, and then it's there. And then I can go back and refer to it again later if I want to.
I should probably slide you onto my YouTube channel. I have like, I don't know, 40 videos on there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do that. Do reciprocal subscribe.
There's some elite stuff, not a whole bunch, but there's some. There's some PUBG, you know what that is? Player Unknown's Battlegrounds.
I've heard of Battlegrounds. I don't think I've had too much. I didn't take too close a look at it. I also play
like Fortnite for adults.
Yeah, I play some of the other games I've played
Arma.
include From Other Suns, which is a VR game. Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Oh, right. Star Trek Bridge Crew. Seen that a few times.
Yeah,
That looks hilarious.
that is a good game.
There's your immersion game.
Oh yeah, I know. And you know, unlike in the Elite where you have to have a controller or HOTAS, in Star Trek Bridge Crew you're tapping glass panels in a virtual interface in front of you. So it's very entertaining that way.
And feeling your female avatar's boobies and all kinds of good stuff.
Oh yeah, it's pornographic, absolutely.
So anyway, yeah, there's a lot of me playing with my RC cars. That's why I started a YouTube channel, but I don't play with them no more. Me and my buddy Harris at our skateboard park here in town.
Oh yeah.
And other places, down snowy banks, you know, and all kinds of weird stuff.
Ah,
But it's just Spike 553. If
gotcha.
you go to YouTube and type in Spike 553, then it'll bring up my channel.
Noted. I shall better jot that down on this little pad I have here in front of me for a little emergency.
I think the last thing I posted was something to do with. Oh no, that wasn't that. No, never mind.
Well, I got your alias there down now. Okay, so wine, we have 108 metric tons of unique vintage wine.
Yep.
Shipped direct from Earth to the Gomet system.
So what's the time limit and why? Wine should be even better if you're late.
Yeah, it's true. It's 11 hours.
Are
But,
the corks rotten?
well, I'm sure this is World War II, you know, Hitler's private stock, so, yeah.
I've got a question for you that I'm interested in hearing your answer. This is a techno lore, how it works type of thing.
Yeah.
It's about tonnage and cargo capacity and how that works and how slaves are. So if you buy a ton of slaves,
Yeah.
can you give me the answer of how many slaves you have bought, how many people are in that ton, or how does it work?
Well, what you do is you take a bunch of people standing up, you put them in, you encase them inside of cryolite slabs, and you just stand them back to back inside of a cargo canister. No, that's not what happens. The slaves are actually, your cargo units are converted into very, very small bunks that have their own independent life support and meet their own needs without the expense being necessary for the ship for the planned duration of the voyage. So as long as you make it on time, your slaves will not perish or spoil, and you will get full payment for what you're doing, which is normally the outcome. So it includes, in other words, a ton of slaves. A ton of slaves, in other words, includes the slave, of course, themselves, but also all their luggage, their life support systems, their toiletries, all their needs are that slave occupies in your cargo bay. So just like you could convert into cabins, I mean, these will be slave compartments.
So the answer is one? One slave per ton because of all the stuff they come with?
Between maybe 1 in 10, I would guess. I don't know.
1 in 10?
1 or 10. Between 1 and 10.
Oh.
Do I know the absolute number? No, absolutely not. Elite hasn't released that information. FDev hasn't released it, to my knowledge.
Okay, but there is always more than one.
I think so.
You're never just going to have one person and his luggage. It's going to be a bunch.
Yeah, but it's more than just aircraft luggage. But yes, it would be more than one.
How about like families and things like that? How does that work?
There's no provision for families amongst Imperial slaves. Imperial slaves is a service, so you get criminals, people who are low minimum security criminals that want to work off their debt to society, working as Imperial laborers, or you can, if you have a debt inside the Empire, instead of going to prison for the duration that you don't pay back your debt, you can work it off as a slave.
So you're saying that out of all of these billions of people that are in imperial slave conscription or whatever it is,
It's not conscription. It's not first of all, it's not conscription.
Not conscription.
No, you have a choice. People who want to become slaves can become slaves, but they are slaves for a term, and during that term they have rights. Unlike the slaves of the Federation, they are entitled to medical care, full support network, the works. They even get counseling for free, I think.
But no families?
No families.
partnerships?
No.
How does that work? Like, what do they do for socialization? Like, are they not allowed to socialize?
No, they get time off. They work an 8-hour shift daily, and then they work the rest of the time they have off. If they have families and happen to be stationed where their families are, they may see them. If they want,
families.
if they don't, then they can communicate with them. But they cannot necessarily.
I see what you're saying.
They can't disengage without permission of their slave master until such time as their term is completed.
Right. So if you go to a system, it's got a planet, and on the planet they're doing agriculture. There's a station above the planet.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to go and see the planet yet, but in the station and on the planet are families of slaves, and if a slave needs to move, he will transport to the station and then be in that queue on a mission that you take from his master, from his owners.
Right, from his owners.
And
Yeah.
leave his family behind.
Right.
That makes sense. That
And
makes perfect sense.
if his family wants to follow him, they're not slaves, so that means it's up to them. If they want to follow the slave, they can choose to do.
They might be in a passenger mission that we don't see at some
They can
point,
choose
but
to
either
do
way,
so. But this is why imperial slavery is considered by many to be part of a support or a social network that is not quite. It's not like you're a Roman slave and your master can beat the hell out of you and do whatever the hell they want. Like, they can't sexually abuse you or whatever, unless that's part of your contract. And you have the option to decline those kinds of assignments. It's not mandatory.
So one sec, if you go to a system that's selling imperial slaves and you fill up your cutter or your Type 9 and you've got 700 tons of cryotubes, you really got 3,000 or 4,000 people that you're buying and selling? Maybe more?
Cryotubes? Like, sorry,
Or whatever you said they were.
cryolite slabs.
Yeah, you said they were like little places where they get to hang out for the trip and unpack their luggage and have a little bedding and
Yeah.
like they're alive throughout the journey and they're not.
Well, the journey usually isn't that long, so yeah, I mean they would not be put into long-term storage. But I mean, if you wanted,
But it's not just 700 people that you're dealing with. It's a lot more because of the cramming that goes on.
it's more than you would get in not necessarily. It's more than you would get in a passenger mission. Passenger missions are there to accommodate the comfort of the passengers. The slavery option, you're going into a cargo bay, and it's not about your comfort exclusively. It's about how many of the slaves can be economically placed.
Yeah.
It's like steerage on an old ocean gun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll be given the necessities of life, sure, but you're not much else. It's very basic.
No, I get it. You answered my question, and I'm looking at it as a ship versus weight versus cargo. How the cargo bay is designed and operates, and what it can accommodate.
If you could have imperial slaves, and this doesn't happen, but if you had imperial slaves going across the galaxy, okay, then encasing people in cryolite and going through long-term duration storage where they're not consuming oxygen, food, or anything else, that would be one thing, right? They're gonna cost a lot of energy, but the amount of money it would take to put them into cryolite and then take them out of cryolite again is more, probably, I'm guessing, for an imperial slave than to just leave them animated, and transport them as alive with minimal accommodation aboard a cargo ship.
I got a follow on question. Ready? Here we go. let's go with the same thing, but we're not buying tonnage of slavery. We're buying tonnage of gold.
Yes.
So if I go to an outpost and I buy a ton of gold and put it on my ship, and I take it over to the planet's surface and I leave I drop it or eject it, or I put it in my SRV and put the canister on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
If I open that canister, how much weight of gold is inside?
1 metric ton. 1 metric ton, yeah. Compressed, but 1 metric ton.
Okay. The canister itself doesn't weigh anything then.
Presumably not. I don't think it's taken into account if it is.
Yeah, that's kind of the weird part there.
But it's assumed that 1 metric ton of gold is 1 metric ton. That's why I was able recently, and I made this post to that site that I gave you. I did a conversion from US dollars as of the close of business that day to the credit to do a currency transfer between the United States dollar and the Federation or the Bank of Zayon's credit.
For this year or for 3304?
Yeah.
33 something.
US dollars in
Anyways.
2018 US dollars versus 3304 credit currency.
Yeah.
And it worked out. It worked out that the credit was actually worth less than an American dollar. It was worth 68 cents or something on the dollar. It was almost Canadian.
Wow. So, do you have any info on how the materials collection and storage works?
Since you're Canadian,
if
I
were
can
to
tell.
say,
Since you are Canadian, I can tell you this: that the credit was worth about $1, but somewhere between $1.04 and $1.07 Canadian.
Okay.
Something
No,
like
I mean,
that.
like, if I go and pick up materials, like, oh, there's some lead,
Yeah.
and I pick it up and I put it in my X,
Yeah.
and I fly around, where is it? And how much does it weigh, and how do I know I have that much?
Okay. Say again. I didn't really understand the question.
Like the materials in the game, phosphorus, carbon,
Yeah.
all the stuff that we don't trade.
That I
in
don't
the
know, and I
commodity.
haven't since they changed the commodity handling. I don't know exactly where it goes, but it goes
Yeah.
into
Do you know the popular answer about it being in your suit? Does that make any sense at all?
No, it doesn't,
No.
because the amounts that are given there are,
Way out of skew.
yeah, they used to be tons and now they're not, and I don't know what they are now.
Tons. But there's data too, so I could see, every suit has a data port, and you can hold gigabyte upon gigabyte, and that's where your data goes. I can see that. But I can't see any materials like
No,
come on.
artificial compression or quantum compression doesn't make doesn't make any sense even for these amounts. There's just too much there. So I don't know where it goes.
Well, at least I stumped you on that one. I wish you would have had a good solid one for me.
No, sorry.
Anyone's never had a solid one on that one. I bet you can get a dev live stream, have it all to yourself, and they still can't really properly explain it.
No. A lot of this stuff is a cross between reading my interpretation and just like conclusions I'm drawing. So I mean, there's
The thing is, you know about Frontier Elite too, so maybe some of it crosses over
some of
to
it
that and
some
the
of it does
technology.
some of it does cross over. Yes, it crosses boundaries of that sort. But so I'm giving you what Frontier might say, what I'm imagining they would give you as the answer. But in terms of the engineering components, I have no idea. You know, raw materials, no clue. Just no idea.
A chemical manipulator, when you look at it before you pick it up on the ground in your SRV, it's taller than you are. Like, whoa. And then now it's inside my cargo rack, not my SRV.
I mean, you could drag it around behind it. You could drag it around behind the SRV and like through the dirt and whatnot. Presumably it survived impact. I don't know. But I mean, it doesn't go into the cargo spaces on the SRV. This is part of the reason also.
We all accept that that's what it is.
Yeah, well, there's a certain
I'm
amount
at
of
500 iron. I gotta get rid of my 500 iron.
we suspend our disbelief, but you know, for some reason, the Trek person in me has imagined that it's just you know, that there's a pneumatic tube somewhere, you know, and it suddenly just goes in there and comes out inside your ship's cargo hold in this special place where this stuff goes and nothing else can go, and you know, it's just where it is.
And you can just call it up whenever you want, at whatever time, and you can't eject it, though. You can't eject it. It has to be with you until you spend it or trade it. But you can't just say, no, clear my carbon. No.
But they used to have that ability, right? Right before this version of the handling of those materials. Yes, you could actually eject carbon. In fact, you needed to, because there's only so much space available to process materials. So you had to get rid of space sometimes to accommodate other new materials that you had prioritized. And yes, it made more sense, but it also made life a lot more complicated, and you had to go back and forth, and you couldn't get rid of all of it all at once. It was a kind of one hassle. So they made one gameplay trade for another, and I can kind of see why they did it, but another part of me also...
Mike, for a minute and a half or so, I go pee. I put a funny picture up on the Discord or two.
Okay. Yeah.
Tries to stay up late like me, but she's zonked. Did you see that blasphemy and get in?
No, sorry, I'm in the middle. I'll take a look at it, but I'm in the middle of a jump right now.
No rush.
I got to get to the Gomet system.
That's the thing with Discord, you can leave it and love it type thing. You don't have to sit and watch it live. A lot of people leave their notifications and stuff on so that any time anything happens, they get a little pingy dingy and holy shit,
during the daytime,
my life.
when I'm doing work from home, I leave my Outlook logged in, and it's kind of the most annoying thing, right? Because you have email come in, business relevant email. So what happens with Outlook?
Yeah.
That stupid fucking ding that has never changed in like the last 20 years, I swear to God. Ding! Oh, I have to stop whatever the hell it is I'm doing right now. Like, I've hung up the phone on people in order to take the fucking ding of email. It's like the most obscene thing ever.
That sucks.
Yeah, but I have to read, because everyone always asks, have you read, did you see my email?
Yeah.
Did you see my email?
That's the most important thing I've ever seen in my life, and that's all you gotta say. I could never top that. You're the email king. Why don't you send another one? Send one that makes sense next time. What do you mean makes sense? It's just 3 lines. It's like, I'm going here. You'll be there. No.
You can
it's all in gibberish.
It's very easy to make yourself a slave to any form of social media or email if you want, but I refuse.
I decided to not do the Facebook or MySpace thing when they started up, and
those things, those are pretty nasty too, because they'll ring your cell phone now. Ring.
Yeah, I'm
it's
not onto that. No, that's not good. I don't like to hear that shit at all.
Everyone's like sitting there like poking away at these little screens.
I realized that like when I had a group of friends, we all chummed out a lot, and then we sort of broke up, but then we all got MSN Messenger back in the day, and then I seen them all once online, and I was like, oh, this is a good little sort of a reminiscing type of a meeting, like a, what do you call it, a
reunion.
Like a high school reunion. This is a nice little kind of reunion. And then I realized that every time I turned my fucking computer on, they could just reunion me at their own will and say, hey, what are you doing, like, all day? Any one of them. And I said, no, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I don't want to do anything to do with these guys unless it's on my terms.
Yeah.
And then that sort of attitude just peeled off into the rest of social media.
Yeah, I mean, it's useful. Facebook,
like
I still.
Instagram, come on.
I know that's.
Instagram.
And now Snapchat. Don't forget Snapchat. Like,
I don't know any of that. What the hell, right? I'm lucky to be on Discord. That's all I get.
Yeah, well, it's a glorified IRC client anyway. But I don't know.
I used to use that back in the day. MIRC. That was one of the only ways you could get out there.
That's right. But now...
Archie and all of that, he used to crawl all over.
Oh, shit.
The old FTP lists and bulletin boards with my 28.8 and my 14.4 and my 300 baud modem to start with.
Yeah. I remember 300 baud. Christ, with 300 baud, remember, you used to be able to, like, read it character by character as it was coming in. Christ, I could almost type faster than...
What's that? Holy mackerel! 56K!
Yeah.
DSL! What? Yeah. Oh, you gotta install a new kind of phone line for that?
Yeah.
What? Perry, get away from me. Oh, here comes Wide Beam. What's it called? Waveshaw. What?
I was one of the beta testers in my neighborhood in Winnipeg. I was one of the beta testers, the first 100 customers that got T1 service to the door.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was
1.4M?
Yeah, 1.4 right to the door, and
yeah.
I was in the right neighborhood at the right place at the right time, and I lived like.
Probably went and bought a lot of hard drives.
Oh my God! I was
so much money.
I had my own Linux server up. I thought, oh, I'm king shit now. Oh my God!
No, your own FTP.
Yeah.
Oh no!
And so then I learned all about security
and all the porn and everything you'd gotten rid of so long ago, and you miss it, but you never did much with it. Yeah, everybody else.
Yeah. Well,
but still, it had to do that. It had to evolve. We had to have things like Napster come along and.
Oh sure.
Big, it had to happen, or else where would we be now?
Well, right? The movie industry would be exactly where it is, which is stuck in the 1960s. But everyone else, yeah, they would have been held back too. I mean, Netflix and a few other services have finally, to come to the entertainment industry and dragged it kicking and screaming royalty-free into the 21st century. But in fact, Amazon, by the way, The Expanse, the sci-fi series The Expanse, just got rescued last week by Amazon. It was canceled by Sci-Fi. How did I know that you like The Expanse? Well, because, you know what? It's a really good show. It's sci-fi. I know it is. And I haven't caught up with it. I've got most of it done and watched. Of course, all the big stuff. I was very angry when Sci-Fi canceled it because it's so non-democratic. It's a bunch of people in the boardroom deciding it's too expensive to manufacture. And if they decide that, who the hell are they? They don't necessarily have a monopoly on, Western economic thought. They're not like necessarily the best business people that we've ever produced. They're just a bunch of people like you and me sitting there trying to figure out how's the best way to make the most amount of money for shareholder value. Right? And they made a mistake with this Expanse. So how do you fix that? You don't ordinarily. But luckily, Expanse was a privately funded show that Sci-Fi bought into. So when they canceled it, yeah, they canceled it off Sci-Fi, but they didn't cancel the show. The show just went and found another channel. And sure enough, it came down to either Netflix or Amazon. So now they're on Amazon. So
us torrent grabbers will be able to get anything if we don't have Amazon service.
But I mean, Amazon will do very nicely with Expanse anyway. Like, it will be one of their money makers. And you know what? Some of that stuff I've started to buy into. I do have Bell 5. I mean, I can watch all the television I want on my computer now, if I want to. All of it. Every channel. 500 plus channels of Bell 5, you know, from Turkish through English, you know, and everything in between is available on my goddamn PC. So, I think that's exactly the entertainment industry needed to go, and it makes it a lot more ready for me to spend money and get billed for it after the fact, or even pay with my credit card up front if they really want, than use torrents under conditions where, you know what, I might not have full access to torrent. I didn't for Stargate Origins, and I thought very seriously, up to a point, about breaking down and buying Origin episodes, because I'm just that much of a Stargate fan too. But in the end, I decided no, can't justify the expense. I'll wait for it.
I bet you're into Babylon 5.
I did watch a fair amount of it, but actually that was less so back in the day.
I didn't really watch it.
The graphics weren't heavy duty, you know.
Yeah, there you go. Gotta have the good Star Trek at least style.
Yeah. We gotta have Star Trek or Star Wars quality graphics, but
better.
Or better,
yeah. That's why The Expanse is such a winner. Not only because the story isn't pretty too crazy, it's not bad. Like in the latest episode trailers, I've seen some aliens that they're looking at. I don't know what's going on there, but you know, the whole splitting up the whole bunch of humanity with Martians and everything, and doing the mining. People live off at low G and they go back to high G and they're all fucked up. That whole thing is awesome. But then when you see the graphics and the physics of how it all works and everything, you're like, this is the way it should have been. Did you watch Enterprise? Or no, not Enterprise, sorry.
Discovery.
Discovery?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you like that? The way that you could warp, like, with that creature, and then it turned into the gay guy.
Yeah. Well, but the gay guy.
I think I missed the last episode.
The gay guy is the. I think he's the navigator. His boyfriend was the CMO of the
medical guy.
Yeah.
It's the medical guy and the guy that's in charge of this new warp technology.
That's right. Sorry,
and
the science officer. Yeah.
And they found out that it's the creature that they could use because of the stuff that the creature lives with, and not those flowers that they're doing. So anyways, after using the creature a bunch, the creature fucked up and said, no, I'm not doing this no more. But the gay guy got the power.
Yeah, no, they released, they ended up releasing the creature. So the creature was a trilobite
Trilobite.
And well, a macroscopic trilobite. And they released it back to its home environment, which was basically vacuum of space. And the main lead female, whose name is so easy to remember, but I can't right now, she was all to do with that. She was Michael Burnham.
Right, Michael,
Spock's sister.
The whole thing about that.
That's Spock's sister.
Great show.
That's Spock's sister.
Is it?
Yeah, it's his sister.
Sarek.
Spock's adopted sister.
Yes. Right. No, she was awesome. Seeing her die at the end of her last episode of Walking Dead, she was a big Walking Dead piece. Seeing that actress go to that place is like, oh, this is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember her from Walking Dead.
Thing.
And then what else happened? Oh yeah, so now for the next season, they of course travel to the Mirror Universe, and when they took the halfway through the season, when they took it into the Mirror Universe, and it turned out that the captain of the Discovery was actually from the Mirror Universe. I just lost my shit right there. I love the Mirror Universe so much. And
I gotta watch all that. I didn't even know about any of this.
oh my God,
I thought it was just the one season.
No, the Terran Empire. Well, there is the one season, but halfway through season 1, the Terran Empire becomes the new place where they end up, because the creature that they released, what's his name, the science officer who now controls the spores, he ends up getting all fucked up somehow, and he teleports the Discovery. Instead of going back home to Earth, he teleports them to the Mirror Universe, and the Discovery switches places with its counterpart in the Mirror Universe.
Oh, wow. Like in an old Star Trek episode.
Yep. And in the new ones, of course, DS9 had several Mirror Universe episodes, and there was one in Enterprise as well. So now they brought back the Mirror Universe in Discovery, except it was a major theme for like half the first season, before they come back to the Federation. And I won't tell you how it ends because it's important. But anyway,
I might watch it again.
But guess who's the Emperor? Guess who's the Emperor Guess who's the Emperor in the Mirror Universe?
Captain James T. Kirk.
No. Captain Georgina Shenju.
The one who died in the first.
The one who died in the first episode. So no, it's
That's
Michael.
Cool.
Yeah. So Michael's protege, whom she had betrayed, ends up being the Emperor, and the two women are, of course, completely the opposite of one another. It's the Mirror Universe is about, but she ends up being deposed as Emperor, and there's a bunch of other things. But the drama is just so unbelievable, and the twists and the turns. And
making a high wake here.
What's that?
In a high wake, you get all fuzzy when that happens.
Yeah. Well, I was just
I'm done mining for tonight.
Yeah.
I only made off with like less than 100 tons, so I'm not too happy about that. But I'm gonna go sell it.
I'm just arriving at Cayley Dock in the Gomet system, so I'm going to finish up here tonight as well.
Hey.
I'm passing Gas Giant Gomet C1. Looks like a Jupiter-sized or larger gas giant. It's a really big planet. I wish they had put a great red spot on planet Jupiter in this game, but it would have meant developing a custom texture for the gas giant Jupiter, and I guess they just weren't ready for that yet.
Yeah.
There's one more Star Trek series to come out called Prelude to Axanar. It's a private fan-based thing, but it's canon and somewhat supported by CBS and Paramount. So, because they're in agreement with them. These are the people that Paramount and CBS sued a couple of years ago, back in 2016, trying to shut them down and prevent them from developing unsanctioned materials in the Star Trek universe, which they said infringed copyright, with some legitimacy, I might add, because they kind of didn't ask permission.
I just downloaded a whole bunch of Lego Star Wars droids tales and Yoda Chronicles. I love that. It makes me laugh so much. All the parodies that they do. The way that Vader and the Emperor are so goofy and comical.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
You see the Angry Birds Star Wars stuff? That stuff was riotiously funny when it first came out.
Yeah, on my crappy little cell phone. Just Angry Birds.
Well, it wasn't a game. These were videos that were produced for the game.
Oh.
And they
I didn't know there was...
They're hilarious. They're talking about Vader, and of course you can't understand a thing Vader is saying. It's just, I don't know, it's just hilarious. You gotta listen to it. Anyway, I'm gonna log off for tonight, so we'll talk again soon.
Roger that.
Alright, take care.
07, Commander.
See you later. All right, everyone, it's 6:56 Zulu on 3rd June 3304 at Cayley Dock in the Gomet system. It looks like we're going to try to finish up here, but we'll be logging off for tonight subsequently. Please check the properties of this video in order to find addresses for Commander Trium's Twitter feed and blog site. Please click the I like and subscribe icons as desired, and the bell icon to the right of the subscribe button in the YouTube standard interface, where you find this video and other videos generated by Commander Trium for the Video Flight Log Library. If you would like to be kept apprised of new media as it is produced for the library. This has been your host for tonight, Commander Trium, and I'll be logging off momentarily. 1 second, please. And that's it for now, folks. Commander Trium once again saying, have a great night. Signing off.